what is your job?
So my name is Colette, and I have Colette Malik Consultancy.
And what do you do with your job?
So I am a wedding venue consultant. So I have contracts at wedding venues where I do look after all of the weddings at those venues. So I do all the sales process with the couple, and then once they are booked, they get handed to a team of wedding coordinators.
What's your favourite wedding song?
Love an acoustic version of Elvis Presley, Can't Help Falling in Love.
Yeah.
I love it, and it was one of my dad's favourite songs, and my sister had it at her wedding. Really calming song.
Oh, that's
Like the kids the other week, and I had my coat zipped right up, and I've just come from Dubai, so it's really cold, and I was standing on the beach, and I was just like wanting them to hurry up, but they were playing, so I was just humming that song in my coat.
Overplayed.
Perfect, or Marry Me by Bruno Mars.
What's a wedding trend that you love right now? It could be
God, well, it's you.
Something that you think you don't need to stress about on your wedding day?
Timings.
Timing.
As a wedding team, we're like, you don't need to worry about that. That's our job.
Advice would you give to a prospective couple? It could be
The weather. Choose your venue based on the inside as well as the outside, and you've got a lovely alternative, because the amount of couples that I've met on the run up to the wedding day who are just so stressed.
It's something. Sausages in the ground to make sure that the sun
it's
shines.
something that you have absolutely no control over.
What do you think sells a venue the most?
Couples will see a couple of venues and they're always like, oh, what should I be looking for? And it's definitely a feeling. So I think you've got non-negotiables of what you look at even before you book a wedding venue. Look at your non-negotiables, then you book in your wedding venues. Your feeling for your wedding venue. I think you just know.
You think you pick your wedding date if you don't have any particular date?
Yeah.
What makes you think you choose a date?
People are guided by the venue.
Yeah.
So they may be like, oh, I've got one Saturday left in July. If they're open, if they've got all the Saturdays left in July, I think you'd just go with the one that sounded nice.
Yeah. No, I agree.
Even numbers go first.
And I think we'll get into your job.
I started off my career in the wedding industry working at Slaley Hall as a wedding coordinator, and then got married at that venue. Absolutely loved it from the beginning. I was driving to work on a Saturday knowing I had all the shuttle-rounds booked in, and I was just
looking forward to your job.
Oh, absolutely loved it. And honestly, I could have a Saturday full of showruns now and I'd feel exactly the same as I did like 15 years ago. Honestly, I absolutely love it. Worked as a wedding coordinator there, and then I left there, and then I went to work for Apartment Group, and Newton Hall had just opened, so it was amazing. And then when I had my first son, who's going to be turning 11 this year, I just wanted something that was a bit more flexible around him when I went back to work. So I decided to set up my own business. And from there, I went to my first big contract after going self-employed was for Wyland Brewery. And I was with them from the beginning. And from them opening, and loved that. And then I left there about 4 years later. And then I started to primarily work with new venues after that.
To kind of establish them, help them set up.
Yeah, so I'd done like a 3 to 6 month contract with new venues to get them set up for weddings and to train up their wedding coordinator. If they didn't have one, to put a wedding coordinator in there. And then I started that, and then the Exchange, where we are now, was one of my first like longer term contracts after working with small ones. And I've always worked with I've always enjoyed the sales process more than doing the actual wedding. Obviously, it's lovely to do people's wedding days and I have done it throughout my career, and it's lovely because you get to be there on the day, and I absolutely love that part. But for me, I find the sales part more exciting.
Are you a bit like sales driven? You're like,
oh yeah, definitely. So I love to do that part of it, and then I move them on and know they're in great hands with the wedding coordinator who will do the wedding day. I remember there was one of the venues that I worked at, and it was a really busy venue, lots of show rounds. And I remember really like testing out some, I guess like sales techniques with couples. And I remember just having lots of showrooms booked in and thinking, okay, with this couple, I'm going to do this, and then, you know, see how that worked. And with the next couple, I'm going to do this. And I really like spent, I would say, about 6 months looking at the sales process and how people were triggered by emotion and what made people book their wedding venue.
What do you think makes you different from, I mean, there isn't loads of people doing your job, but what do you think would make you different than somebody else in the same role?
Yeah, so I remember when I went self-employed, and my title before going self-employed was a wedding coordinator. And I was like, okay, so what am I? I don't know. I'm a wedding venue consultant. I consult with wedding venues, and you know, I go in and I train them to make them better at their sales, and I've kind of just made up that title. So I actually don't know anyone else who has the same like kind of job title. The process that a couple go through from getting engaged to up until their wedding day, really, because I've met thousands and thousands of couples, and I've really like took the time to understand, like, I wrote a full training program. So I have a training program that for wedding coordinators, to help them like master the show around and to help them, you know, really master the sales process. And I've got that from understanding the couple and actually doing my own research into that by trying and testing things with couples. And yes, I would say that that's
the experience
probably,
as well. Yeah, you've the best thing about your job.
So the best thing about my job is new couples, and so I want to listen to them. Yeah, like I feel like just listening to them is just really valuable, and listening to what they want, and then actually saying, oh, well, this is what we can do to like accommodate that. And I think that goes a really long way. And so I think the best thing about my job is meeting new couples, really finding out about their wedding day, and then just getting a yes from them that they want to have their wedding here, like they want to have the wedding at the venue.
The worst thing.
Just be all the admin and all the systems I use, booking systems and things. Because I want to be like face to face with people.
Who would you like to see next?
Emma Jordan. Yes. Why? She's so good at what she does. I work with her very closely, so we like really bounce off each other. But I love hearing her take off things, and I think she'd be give some really good snippets of advice.
Thank you.